Scrub-a-dub-dub, we're gonna talk in the tub. We got Beatos
and tuxedos
and mosquitoes
and burritos and Doritos and Cheetos and taquitos, Fritos and potatoes. Oh, and steak and
Taft. So come on over to our tub talk.
Greetings all, George Washington here, the first President of the United States of America. I took office on April 30th, 1789, stepped down on March 4th, 1797. During the time that I served, there were no term limits in the Constitution, so I started the trend of the only serving 2 terms of office, which up until that pesky president, FDR, there was no need for an amendment on the term limits. Let me tell you, being the first president had its perks, but it was very stressful. Running an entire country by yourself is not as easy, so I decided to establish a presidential cabinet of 15 trusted advisors and my vice president. I figured might as well shake things up a bit and throw in several different people on the cabinets, some of whom could not stop fighting like cats and dogs. Hamilton and Jefferson. Even though I led the colonies in the revolution against Britain, it was nothing compared to the pressures of leading the new states. My main goal as president was to set us on the correct path for our future, so I withheld from any foreign affairs until we were stronger. During my presidency, I vetoed the least amount of bills, only 2. I did not want the new Americans to feel I was trying to become another tyrant king. I also personally led the militia into the Whiskey Rebellion to prove I was no pushover. Just like a teenager, if you take your eyes away from the country for 2 seconds, it's into something it shouldn't be. After 2 terms, I decided to step down from my presidency and retire to my plantation in Mount Vernon. I set the precedents for all the presidents to follow me, and might I brag, I sure did a good job. Even after 200 years, the states are still going strong. Just remember, kids, that no matter how stressful a job or life gives you, as long as you prove you are no pushover and work towards your goal, nothing will stop you. Never give up on your dreams, and don't let stress or the pressure of a situation stop you from greatness.
Oh, hello there. Name's Taft. William Howard Taft. I was the 27th President of the United States. I served 1 term from 1909 to 1913. I wasn't only president during my time, you know. I also served in the judicial branch as Chief Justice. Many other things around here changed because of me. For example, I started the tradition of the president throwing out the first pitch in the first game of the World Series, the 7th inning stretch, and I'm the reason the rest of the presidents have such a huge bathtub. You're welcome. Before you think that I did just about nothing in office, let me tell you a few important things I did. I passed things like workers' men's compensation laws. I was in office when the 16th Amendment was passed to levy an income tax on the people, the 17th Amendment, which allowed for election of U.S. senators to happen by popular vote. I also established the Federal Children's Bureau, had the Mans-Elkin Act passed, and signed a Publicity Act. The Mans-Elkin Act placed the telephone, telegraph, radio, cable services, and other communications companies under control of the Interstate Commerce Commission. The Publicity Act required political parties to account for the money spent on federal campaigns. I wanted to expand the influence of the United States overseas, so I started a plan called Dollar Diplomacy, which encouraged the United States banks and businesses to make investments abroad. I wasn't above using the Marines to accomplish these objectives, by the way. I vetoed 39 times, and when you really think about it, that's pretty good. I wanted to get things done while I was in office. In all honesty, I was really salty about leaving the White House. Do you know how frustrating it is to not be president twice when you wanted it? President of the United States or chief executive? Which would you pick? Of course, I wasn't going to act happy about losing the election, so my exact words to Woodrow Wilson to make him feel bad were, "I'm glad to be going. This place is the loneliest place in the world." Now, I know exactly what you want to know. Why are you so fat? Why do you have such a new huge bathtub? Well, I've always been a little bit on the heavy side. I'm 5'11", and the smallest I've ever been is 243 pounds. When I got out of office, I weighed 340 pounds. What can I say? They treat you pretty well there. Steak and potatoes whenever I wanted, and it seemed like we never ran out. So, the new bathtub story. One day I was just eating steak and potatoes in the bath, and I sat my plate down and I tried to get up. Then I quickly realized that I was stuck. People helped me out because they liked me, of course. Well, that, and I'm kind of a big deal. We then got a more than 7-foot long bathtub, which was 41 inches wide and weighed a ton. Literally. Just remember, everybody, always look at things from a realistic standpoint, and don't try to fit in small spaces.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 32nd President of the United States of America. The only president to serve 3 terms and be elected 4. That's right, from 1933 to 1945, I was America's president. It was tough, I'll tell you what, with the Great Depression and World War II, but I had complete confidence in the American people and in myself. I even had a radio show called Fireside Chats. Tune in. A lot happened after my death as well. After all, I'm the inspiration for the 22nd Amendment. But hey, it's controversial, but the people elected me. Yep, I am the only man that was able to serve more than 2 terms, and I was the last. Tell that to that George Washington chump. Anyways, I'm here to give you all a lesson on power, and I think I know a great deal, like the New Deal, about it. I had 635 vetoes. Only 9 were overridden by Congress. I guess I did have a great deal of support, though. Democrats like me controlled both the Senate and the House. You see, the key is to never lose faith, have confidence, and give positivity to others. Like I always say, I have no expectation of making a hit every time I come to bat. What I seek is the highest possible batting average. You see, you have to remain youthful and flexible. Repealing the 18th Amendment helped with that too. Also executive orders. I may have gotten a little crazy with those, but I was able to pass legislation like Social Security and other New Deal programs. So this is where we're at, where I left off. A lot of power can be wielded within the presidency, something that Washington and Taft didn't recognize as strongly. The times change, just don't lose hope.
What? I already resigned. What do you want from me? Hello, I'm former President Richard Nixon. I'm here to talk to you about making good choices and choosing your associates well. I'm just a regular old school assembly. Way back in January of 1969, I was inaugurated as the President of these United States. A lot of people told me that it wasn't going to be easy being the Republican President when both the Senate and the House of Representatives had a Democratic majority. But at the time, I was accepting of that challenge. As President, I improved diplomatic ties with China and the Soviet Union, and along with Congress, I passed acts that dealt with the environment, economic stability, and even lead paint. We figured it was probably not a good idea to put poisonous paint on children's toys. Congress and I didn't always get along now. You have to understand that I used about 40 or so vetoes during my presidency, and only 7 got rejected. Even with all those vetoes, I would say we had a pretty productive first term. We removed troops from Vietnam to appease those pot-smoking hippies. But you've probably learned about one of my lowest moments in your history classes, right? You probably only know me as the president that quit, or the crook. Well, I am not a crook. And I'm here to tell you that people around you can ruin your life. Well, I won't ignore the Republican elephant in the room, Watergate. That little scandal that I was accused of being involved with. A couple of old FBI and CIA agents were putting their noses where they shouldn't have, and I got tied into the whole mess. I never told them to break in anywhere. The real problem arose when I ended up lying about being involved. Well, did anyone think that maybe I didn't know what my Attorney General was up to? No. Okay, maybe he mentioned it at breakfast or something, but Who would take some lunatic talking about robbing the Democratic National Committee? Right. Well, you see, this whole kerfuffle made people start to question whether or not I should have won my second election. They just got more and more riled up until finally they went to impeach me. I don't know if you knew this or not, but no U.S. president has ever been impeached, and I sure wasn't going to be the first. In hindsight, I don't know if being the first and only president to resign was much better, but who knows? Maybe with this Trump fellow in office, that will change. No one was gonna make me leave. I'll leave if I want to, but you sure aren't gonna make me. Well, yeah, kids. Be careful who you're associated with. And if you're ever accused of a scandal, quit before they can catch you.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get respect up on the street.
Well, I was the first to really establish this all. I hope you've all learned something about stress through this.
Since Washington, we've all learned how stressful this job can be, and I've taught you that you can't overestimate where you can fit. I've also shown you how you can balance power and pleasure. Yes, indeed, Taft has shown us how to get out of a bathtub and play baseball, but it was me who showed us the power and potential of the presidency.
FDR and I were both in the presidency in time of crisis. Him in the GD, me in the Vietnam War. We're pretty much the same.
We are not the same. You were nearly impeached.
Anyways, FDR did show us the power, and I showed the limits of how far we can push it.
Yes, well, we've all seen how the presidency has changed from me to you. I hope everyone at home learned something today. Maybe one day you'll be president too.